The views and comments expressed on the following radio program by its hosts and their guests do not necessarily reflect the views of RMCOnAir.com or its affiliates. Listener discretion is advised.
And good evening. Welcome to Just Sports with Sonny Wells. It's a great, beautiful, warm Friday evening in Los Angeles. And tonight, in studio, Smitty, of course. What's up, Smitty?
All right, I'm doing fine.
And back, Mr. DeJuan Scott. Welcome back, sir.
Yay. Big D.
Yeah, man. Well, a whole lot happening in sports.
Oh, historic week. Historic week for the NFL.
Really? So, hey, let's get right into it. Ray Rice, your thoughts?
Well, I hear the expression being used that this is a watershed moment, meaning that the advocates for domestic violence is pivoting this event into a national event to the point that everybody, all the punditries, it is going on the national TV shows. It's really focused in on domestic violence, and you're hearing the expression now that Ray Rice is being used as a sacrificial lamb, as it were. But when you look at the videotape, as a result of the videotape, this is why it's happening. You do have to sympathize with all those who are advocates of the domestic violence, from the standpoint that this man knocked out his fiance and drug her off the elevator, and that hadn't been seen before, but now as a result of the latest video, is so much commentary taking place. What do you say about that, DeJuan?
Oh man, it's overwhelming. It really is. At the end of the day, there's a lot that everyone can learn from. This is really an opportunity for us to have a enhanced discussion about a subject matter that is, we know, has just been, pervasive in so many different cultures. And now that a lot of these cards are on the table, it just opens the door for us to have a dialogue, that hopefully people can grow from, and people can learn from.
So I've been listening to some of the things that have been said, and basically, it doesn't look good from the standpoint of this gentleman left hooked her, let her hit the railing, and then hit the floor, and then really didn't go down and say, "Oh, my baby," or anything like that. He just basically almost stepped over her, and I think that's the part that really, really hurt people. Now, the other part to this is that I heard she just blew $28,000.
Yes, a lot of money was involved there.
Yeah, so and then she walked into the elevator, and she slapped him and spit on him, and he just left hook money took. Let's take a look at that, and we'll come back and dialogue.
Fresh evidence against Ray Rice.
A new graphic and highly disturbing video.
TMZ Sports has posted this new video that allegedly shows the Baltimore Ravens star punching his then fiancee, now wife, in the face. TMZ says it altered the video to, quote, smooth out what it described as jumpy raw video. Up until now, the only video of the incident was the aftermath, and that was ugly enough. Rice was charged with aggravated assault and suspended by the NFL for 2 games. But today, the league said it hadn't seen video of this part of the incident, even though Rice himself said this.
I think Roger Goodell has everything that the court system has.
The incident took place in February in an elevator at the Revel Casino in Atlantic City. You can see Rice hit Janae Palmer, who charges back at him. Then Rice lands a punch that knocks her out. In May, Rice entered a pretrial diversion program that, if completed, would mean the assault charge would be dropped. The star running back spoke to the media in late July, saying repeatedly he made the biggest mistake of his life that night.
My actions were inexcusable.
But the 2-game ban sparked significant backlash, many asking why the NFL went so easy on Rice. In response, the league announced a new domestic violence policy. First-time offenders get a 6-game suspension. A second offense results in a lifetime ban. Legal experts say it would be difficult for the NFL to revisit Rice's punishment.
You can't then go back just because everybody now sees what you had.
Rebel Casino said it turned this video over to police, but did not release it today to the media. Karen Travers, ABC News, Washington.
Wow. So they see one part of the video, and then good old TMZ shows a different part of the video, and then we get the ban. Your thoughts, Smitty?
Yeah. Well, you know, what I really would like to know is what caused the whole set of events to take place in the first place. As you saw him walking around the column, there was some kind of activity, exchange between he and his fiancée at the time, Janae. And then when they got on the elevator, there was some spitting going on, and then quite naturally he knocked her out. But the commissioner claims that he wasn't aware of the gravity of what took place inside the elevator. Now we have Ray Rice saying that he explained to him exactly what he did in terms of knocking her out. So now we have the whole NFL with the commissioner at the head of it being questioned as to why would they tolerate such violence. And again, I really would like to know what precipitated it, what caused it to happen at the very beginning to come to a conclusion about Ray Rice. Let me just take this position. I don't think any man should put his hands on a woman under any circumstances. And I heard some of the commentators saying that, he's strong, big and strong. He could have grabbed her, held her, prevented her from causing any harm to him. So these advocates now, they are steaming mad, and this has cost this man a lot of money. But more importantly, the young lady has stood up for her husband, and she's expressing a concern that people should just stay out of the event because it's cost her money, and she's also worried about her child.
I think, he entered a diversion or prevention or whatever type of program it was.
Yes.
To be able to get himself some help. That was first and foremost, and he did do that. I don't know how they got it wrong. How did they get it wrong?
Well, you know what it appears like right now? It looks like the NFL commissioner gave him the 2-game suspension, and they were going to let that ride, as it were. But because of the TMZ video, they have to cover themselves. And so they got it right in their minds the first time. But now they're trying to play this picture like, well, we didn't get it right. But the fact that the man went to court and he was put in a diversionary program, as you indicated, he dealt with the civil authorities. So, I mean, what's the big deal now? And we realize the gravity of what he did, but nevertheless, he did go to the civil authorities and handle the matter. And so the NFL should just basically stay out of the matter as far as I'm concerned.
DeJuan, do you think if a couple of more games were added, that would be sufficient?
I really don't know where to start. Before I even try to answer that question, I'd like to just recap, the chain of events and both on what some of the things that you guys have put on the table. The first of all, the casino has gone out of business. And so the video that TMZ shows is not the video that was handed over to the police. That's a video of somebody's cell phone that worked for the casino that basically made a cash grab.
Yes.
Somebody just got a couple $100,000 to sell that video, and TMZ is just apportioning it out. Now that they've released a longer version, you see that Ray, from what we can see, he spit on her first as she walked by before they got in the elevator, and then he spit on her again in the elevator. And I didn't notice that because these elevators in these casinos make sure that there's no room to fool around with stealing their money. So the security was alerted that when that door opened to separate this guy from this woman, but the security guard, I guess, was afraid to, put his hands on Ray, and Ray was saying that she was drunk. You know, so there's just so much more. We just don't know. I mean, how much alcohol was consumed. You know, there's reports about that, and if someone is a mean drunk, or there's no excuse for it, like Smitty said. We just don't know. And I would like to also, as much as this subject has been covered ad nauseum, there's one thing that hasn't been brought up, and I cannot justify in any way, shape, or form, a man putting his hands on a woman, particularly in that fashion.
Yes.
But the one thing that has eluded any sort of conversation in all of the media is the fact that there is the potential for it to have been some roid rage. There is a potential for there to have been, all the damage that a running back has endured for such a career, that there could be some brain damage as well. He's being vilified on so many fronts, and everybody's claiming that they're putting their arms around him. But at the same token, the media is just capitalizing. The media is just capitalizing on and sensationalizing. What I think is really detrimental, to her showing this video and her family.
Yes.
And if it is, some steroids, because steroids can factor in. If that is the case, that opens up a whole nother can of worms when it comes to a discussion.
That's pretty interesting. You would mention the steroid use, which usually is accompanied with violence. And I don't know, $28,000. I'm not going to say I would hit a woman, but I might choke her pretty good. Yeah, it's like,
normally that would be funny.
Yeah. Now they probably had a good amount to drink, both of them, feeling good and feeling bad because a substantial amount of money was gone. And if she's a gambler, she probably wanted to go and gamble some more. And he said, no, it's time to go. And then they get into their little spats because they feel really good, and what that alcohol does to you.
Yeah.
And so that's what happened. You said you wanted to know pretty much what happened before that. I mean, it's easy. It's not hard.
Well, from what we could see, I mean, we didn't have the clip here because it didn't start when it showed her walking by and he spit in her face. I mean, it's like, somebody loses $28,000 of your money. I mean, do you spit in their face? I mean, is that how you
$28,000 spit?
Well, that's the lowest form of humiliation that one human can put on another, spitting.
In this country.
Yeah.
Yes.
In this country. In other countries, people do that, and it's not
pretty low here.
Yeah, very low.
It's about as low as you
I
get
think
here.
the next one is the
and in the
left hook.
African American culture.
Yeah.
In the African American culture.
But here's another twist to it. Now, the Panthers has a player. His name is Hardy, I think it is.
Oh, yeah.
And he was involved in choking a woman, and he's still playing on Sunday. So the question is...
He's been convicted, by the way.
Yeah. So the question is Ray Rice being treated fairly? I mean, he slapped a woman, and that's a terrible thing, or punched her. But yet you have a guy that's choked a woman, he threatened to kill her, allegedly, and he's playing Sunday. So this so-called justice, there's an imbalance there, and I'm sure that the NFL is going to get to the bottom of it.
What about Goodell? You think he's lying about the information that he had? Is it some new stuff from TMZ, or had he had it the whole time and just wanted to give out the 2-game suspension and that's it?
He's in a lose-lose situation because effectually Raiden knocked him out too. Because if he's either incompetent or he's responsible ultimately for all the information that's supposed to be disseminated. I mean, the NFL has retired FBI agents to make sure that they protect the shield. So somebody in that building looked at it, and if they didn't give it to the head man, then it's his responsibility that they didn't give it to him.
Yeah, well, you have Ray Rice saying that several months prior to date that he told the commissioner exactly what happened inside the elevator. And then you also have I think was it the police department indicating that they submitted a report to the commissioner's office, and they have a lady on tape acknowledging that she received the tape. So it looks like he's caught in a lie, and they're saying that the owners, $20 billion worth, are going to protect him. So we'll see what happens in the future.
We'll see, man. But to your point too, Walt, you brought up a subject about the Carolina guy, Hardy, is it?
Yeah.
It's like he still is innocent until proven guilty.
That's true.
But he's been proven guilty by a judge, but then now it's going to be a jury trial.
Yes.
You know, and
he's demanding the jury trial.
Oh man, and just on, you know, because there's no video.
Yeah.
You know, there is audio from the 911 calls. You know, but I say safe than sorry. I think that he should not be playing.
Yeah.
You know, if nothing else, to just set an example that there's zero tolerance for even casting the aspersion that someone has done something of this nature.
Okay, hey, let's take a break. Our sponsors, Pit Bull. We'll be right back.
Diabetic, need some energy? Need to quench your thirst? Try Pit Bull sugar-free energy drink, the only energy drink named suitable for diabetics by the American Diabetic Association. And it's now available with no calories, no carbs, no sugar, and no fat, and a smooth, natural blend of energy, vitamins, and minerals. Need to quench your thirst? Try Pit Bull sugar-free energy drink, the only energy drink named suitable for diabetics by the American Diabetic Association. And it's now available with no calories, no carbs, no sugar, and no fat, and a smooth, natural blend of energy, vitamins, and minerals. Pit Bull sugar-free energy drink is the healthiest, best-tasting energy drink around. For more information and online ordering with free shipping, please visit hiphopbev.com. Remember, Pit Bull sugar-free energy drink, suitable for diabetics, great for everyone.
Okay, we're back live here, RMC. Brought to you by Pit Bull and Mr. Johnny Morris. We have what we call now the Engineer's Corner, and he has something for us. And what is that, Mr. Chris, sir? Let me hear it. I'll repeat it.
The Stanton incident.
The Stanton incident. Oh, you got a clip? Yes. Let's take a look at the clip, and then we'll get that question and try and answer it for you, sir.
Baseball.
Yes.
Big at bat here for Mike Fiers. He's got Stan at the plate. 1 out. The 0-1. Stan is hit. Yikes. Oh, man. And Stan got hit right. Fastball up and in. Oh, right in the face, man.
Right on the cheekbone. Goodness. Wow.
Well, you just hate to see that. Oh, my goodness. Medical staff lift him onto the stretcher. We can see him pushing a little bit. On Johnson. And that one's up and in, and Johnson's hit by the pitch.
And he swung at that one.
And now the benches are going to clear here. Garrett Jones just pushed Jeff Kellogg, the home plate umpire, having to restrain Mike Fiers.
Because the very next pitch, almost the same spot.
And McGee is going nuts here. Casey was the first one.
Casey get thrown out.
Wow.
Yeah.
I hadn't seen that.
Well,
right in the dome. That's, you know what? I thought that the benches should have cleared on that. I don't know.
Well, you know what? I say why they should. When your teammate needs medical emergency, you can't be fighting. Your first priority is to make sure that he's all right. You can't be jumping over his body to go, to avenge him. You know, they did the right thing. Get the medical staff out there. You can't be clogging up the field. Make sure the doctors come and do what they got to do because he's the first priority. You know, now after that, and then they did. When it happened again, and I can also understand it being an accident, but the second time, how do you send a guy out of there on a stretcher and then you go after the very next batter?
Yeah,
that's some clearing some benches right there.
And they did clear the benches. What is your question, actually, Chris? If you're a teammate, what is your reaction? I think Big D put it down the best. You do have to worry about the person that's on the ground. Then you can clear the benches.
Yeah, and it's funny that you can still do that in baseball, because in the NBA, if you leave the bench, you step across that line and you suspended.
But you know what I noticed? When you clear the benches, everybody's there.
Yes.
So if you're going to find someone, you've got to find everybody.
Well, that cost Phoenix. Remember with man, when you really think about, ever since the Ron Artest night, and the NBA has just changed. They've got zero tolerance. It's like we don't care what happened. We all go back to the Rudy Tomjanovich days, don't we?
Oh yeah. I remember that. That was crazy. Your thoughts, Smitty?
Yeah. Well, the thing about it is that player is headed to be the most valuable player in the league. He's one of the top players for that team. So those players have this in mind, that they're trying to take out their top player right before they enter in the playoffs. Now, I saw an interview of the pitcher that threw that ball, and he apologized. He said it wasn't his intent to cause any harm.
You believe him?
I just can't believe that a man is going to throw a ball that fast at a man's head. You
believe him?
That's dangerous. So I believe that he didn't intend to throw the ball at the man's head that fast. I mean, he suffered some severe damages right under his eyeball socket. He had stitches. He bled. His dad was there, rode with him in the ambulance. So it was really a bad situation. But I don't know if you noticed, right the next inning, the pitcher of his team got up and he hit a batter. And he was ejected from the game also. So there was some sort of payback in that situation.
Let's move right along.
That was a good question, though, man. I like that, man. Way to go, Chris.
Yeah, good
way
job,
to go first
Chris.
time out.
We'll expect more next week, sir. Let's talk about Adrian Peterson.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, boy.
That's top of the news. This guy, you guys correct me, he spanked his 4-year-old?
Yes. What's the big deal, right?
Yeah, I don't
He used
get
a
that.
switch. What's the big deal?
Man, that's what they get. I hope there's no weeping willow tree around.
That's what my parents used to spank me with, a switch back in the day. So
let me tell you something, man. I'm 6'9", 300 pounds. When I was 11 years old, I wore a size 11 shoe.
Yes.
When I was 10, I wore a 10. When I was 9, I wore a 9. And my mother used to beat me with my shoes. When I got to size 15, I got no more beatings. I was a good kid at 15.
How old were you around that time?
At 15 years old, wearing a 15, I was no more problems. Right. But it's another day too, though. You know what I mean? And I recently got married a year ago. It's been a year and a half.
Congratulations.
And I've inherited a who is now just turned a 15-year-old daughter. And she is she's the sweetest thing. I mean, I can never, I can't imagine her ever being in a situation, even when I've known her, I think it goes all the way back to being 12 years old, where it would have been corporal discipline for her. She's just not that type of child.
Well, biblically speaking, the Bible says that if you spare the rod, you're going to spoil the child. So based on that, and I think Adrian Peterson is an old school person. That's how he was raised. I understand where he's coming from. Now, I did see some pictures of the child, his son, and there were whips all over him. So as Dwan indicated, we're in a new day now. Just like we have the domestic violence situation, you have advocates for children's violence also. So these groups are jumping on these situations. In fact, he's been pulled before a grand jury, I understand. So it's a serious matter for him personally.
Wow.
It's a tough thing for somebody to intervene and tell you how to raise your child, because nobody knows their child better than you. But I can tell you, after having taught, school in LA Unified, it was enlightening to me the alarming ratio of children that were on medication, that acted out in classrooms, that just had ADD. There are some medical things now that happen with children. It's just not like, corporal punishment is the answer for everything. I mean, sometimes you just have to examine all options. But like I say, you can't tell somebody what to do with their kid. They know them better than you, or at least they should. And
Okay, let's talk about Greg Hardy, Panthers.
Yeah, we kind of talked about him a little bit earlier. So
did we hit a little bit on
yeah,
we
we
did a
talked
little bit,
about him
yeah.
going to
under the domestic
he's
violence.
indicted already, and
You guys changed the order on that.
Smitty jumped out there.
Well, in my mind, I thought we were going to throw it all under the heading of domestic violence with Ray Rice. So, but again, we have the situation where this guy allegedly, and you indicated that he's been.
Yeah, he's been the judge convicted him already.
Yes.
But you know what? Before we run out of time, I want to talk about Pistorius.
That's right. That's who we were missing.
Okay. The South African.
Yeah, man.
track
Because yesterday the judge said that she didn't believe that it was premeditated. He didn't sit up and concoct this. That he was just this is the way he was going to kill her.
How to get away with murder.
Oh my goodness, man. And then today it was just he's culpable for being reckless with the firearm. What do you guys think about that?
I didn't know that. He was shooting up some other places.
Yeah, he would pull out a gun routinely in the car. He just was gun happy. He was trigger happy.
Yeah.
Well, the sentences hasn't come down on him yet, so he could get some time, or the judge could just wipe it away. But from all the evidence that I saw watching the trial, it seemed to me that that was premeditated. I mean, was he on drugs or something?
I mean, I know if I go to bed and there's a girl next to me, and then I hear, and she's not next to me, and I hear sounds in the bathroom.
Yeah. That's her.
Nobody's breaking in the house from the bathroom.
Yeah, that's not going to be your first thought. Yeah.
Not from the bathroom.
It's
the burglar wanted to take a leak, right?
Yeah. Couldn't say, "Sweetie, honey, is that you?"
Yeah, maybe you better say something before I get the blasting.
So it goes again to the celebrities. I mean, do they get the upper hand in all matters?
In this particular instance, it seems as though you got to think about what he has meant to South Africa, though.
Yeah.
I mean, we're over here and we have celebrities galore. How many South Africans have brought as much revenue to the country and given the country a source of pride, and his participating in the Olympics?
Yes.
He changed some rules for the Olympics. He won, some events. So, I mean, he's big time there. I mean, there's a lot of powerful people there, man.
So what does that mean? That he should get off of killing a young lady?
It does. You could apply that to a lot of people that get. I mean, the first thing comes to mind.
OJ.
Yay.
Yeah.
That if you have the right legal team and you have money, and then there's just a definition of premeditation. You have to say, premeditation is if, I'm just going to wait for her to go to the bathroom and I'm going to shoot her. I have to say, I don't think he was that stupid.
Yeah, he actually was charged with manslaughter. So
there you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
But he could get as much as 16 years, or he could do no time at all. And I would suspect, and I think it would be justice if he got 16 years for that.
Yeah, but he's pretty popular. He'll get it wiped clean, I think.
Wow.
Yeah. So look.
Whereas Ray Rice is going to be branded for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
For,
So look. Who you got tomorrow?
Well, I'm going to ride with the Jets. I've been telling you that all along.
No.
Oh, you're talking about the fight.
The big fight.
Oh, the
Who
big
you got?
fight. Well, Mayweather. I don't watch boxing, as it were, but Mayweather's the man, so I'm going to ride with him in terms of this conversation.
Chris? Mayweather?
Mayweather does not give too many people rematches, so he's got something to prove tomorrow, and I think he's going to show up tomorrow big time.
We're going to have that fight here in the studio? Did someone say we was going to have it here?
That's the next show.
Oh, okay. Hey, Sonny Wells, Just Sports. Thank you, Mr. Smitty.
It's been a blast.
Mr. DeJuan Scott and our engineer. We will have more of the Engineer's Corner next week. Thanks for listening. See you next week.